Welcome to this interview, Sirpa. I look forward to this conversation and a short sort of debate or introduction as to this particular topic that's related to the SHAFE Foundation elements about how we can build smart, healthy, and age-friendly environments in our European cities at large. So, Sirpa, though, tell me, what is your background? And I mean, why are you also passionate about this topic about smart cities?
Hi, well, Lars, I'm so happy to be here today with you and talk about different environments for people. I built up my company not so long ago, and I work as a founder and a CEO in my own company, where I have one point of view is to develop the different living facilities for elderly and different group of people. So that's why I'm really fascinated about it because I have a background from healthcare and rehabilitation. We have been figuring out for a long time how to make people's homes better. And I've been working also with environmental control systems inside the homes. So that's something technical.
So, our viewers will know from the other Chafe Foundation interviews that these are fairly brief. So, a big topic, but in a brief and condensed version. So, one of the key elements for this conversation is one about the buildings themselves and the buildings that we are building currently, and using a lot of technology to do so. So, in that context, Sirpa, um, when we are talking about an intelligent building, how can building be intelligent? And also, what are we really doing to make them so?
So if you look at from the side of for example, healthcare clients or different groups of people that uses their homes and different electronic inside the homes, there are very multiple dimensions to this. And I think the important thing is to realize that some of the changements that are done in the environments of the homes is beneficial, and some of them are something that we need to pay attention to. For example, if we implement different kind of systems that record or use AI in these facilities where people live, then it can be a risk for multiple reasons, for cybersecurity reasons or the personal information what do we want to share, for example.
And because, of course, also in the context of the Chafe Foundation, one thing is the technology itself, but there's a human component. So, how do you feel, aside from the cybersecurity element in itself, how does that impact public health? And if you are a public health professional, why should you care more about the technology that we put into those buildings?
Well, first of all, to be able to understand what cybersecurity is about, it needs competencies on that matter. And I think it's very important to understand that now that we live in this really fast developmental time, where different kind of systems are implemented into producing services, it makes also the contents of making the crimes in the cybersecurity more often, and there are possibilities for new kind of crime also to happen in these situations. And it's very important that the personnel that works there has the idea of what kind of threat can be there when they do their work during the whether it's digital service or just a live day-to-day basis.
So a lot of different elements that are maybe intended to help people uh, against injury or maybe optimize their room temperature or similar that can also be used for surveillance or maybe also by cybersecurity be used for something completely different and with an impact to how people actually live and feel when they are in these buildings. So if you were to give in this day and age, I think it sounds like we're in the Middle Ages, we're not, but in this
Yes.
day and age, What would then be two advice that you would give professionals, both from a perspective of the public health professionals, the ones that might not have thought much about the digital component, but also maybe the digital public health or digital developers, that you would give them on this emergent use of technology and AI in the built environment?
Well, I would, from my point of view, I always start from clients, and I would start this time also from clients to see what is the beginning of the process and what kind of services are we producing, what kind of data and information is involved in these processes, and how do we want them to be dealt with. Technology should support the daily life instead of complicating it. So it is very important that we understand that the risks are minimized by the fact that we know that what happens during that process of service production. I also think that building different kind of governance models and interoperability are really important so that we understand where the data goes and who's involved when the data is used. And one of the third topic, even you didn't maybe suspect it to come, is the processes of procurement. And I think the procurement processes and some of our other processes in cybersecurity, they are lacking the new age movement inside those. So we should be more aware of the new ways of cybersecurity threats and different developments on this field so that we could be more prepared on these things.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, of course, Sirpa, to mention that as well, because a key element here is, of course, that when the building is there, you might have a combination of the public health professional and the digital health professional, the digital one, but neither one of them are there when the building is getting built.
Yeah.
And then you have sort of a completely different industry and also a completely different set of rules and regulations that governs the building in themselves. Which leads to this good old fascinating element. Should we talk more across different? This is a rhetorical question, Sirpa, but let's make it anyway. But should we actually then expand our understanding about who is actually a part of what makes public health public and engage with more professionals across sectors?
Yes. Even if it's a rhetorical question, then I answer still yes.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, Sirpa. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. This was really cool, and we look forward to, of course, also talk about this again. I know maybe as a service announcement to this, that people that are more interested might also dive into some of the recent discussions at some of the conferences that we've had at Radical Health recently, for instance, and of course look at public procurement from that side. And otherwise, go either to the link for Sirpa's company, we'll try to post that somewhere, and also, of course, for the SHAFE Foundation for more information about how to think about smart, healthy, age-friendly environments. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.